Hello, everybody. This is the 3-year anniversary commentary for Vine Avenue, my first publicly released film. Um, yeah, I mean, this is not thought out. This is not planned. This is very spontaneous, so bear with me here. I guess this can serve as more of a reflection of sorts after so much time has passed. Um, Caleb and I already released a more formal commentary on the RC Films channel when the movie came out, and that explains more so how the movie was made and the technicalities involved and everything. So I guess I'll definitely link that down below, and I'll put like a card up so you can go watch that if you feel like it before or after this one. If you've not seen the movie, go check the movie out, but no worries if not, you can still stick around and listen to me talk about it, and maybe it'll inspire you to go watch the film. Yeah, so Vine Avenue. Vine Avenue, like I said, it's if you don't know, it's my very first released film. I'd made films previously, but it never saw the light of day. So this is, I just treat this as my first movie, and I would say I'm still proud of it. It's funny when you watch your old movies. You go through phases, right? I'd like to sit here and pretend this is the first time I'm seeing the movie since we've released it, but no, I watch my own stuff like a lot more than I'd like to admit, and I think that's okay. But anyway, I guess speaking from experience, watching your own movies is a roller coaster, because I'd say like you have a year of just like, this is the best thing that's ever been made, and then like year 2 comes along and you're like, oh god, maybe it's not as good. Then year 3 comes along and you're like, oh my god, I can finally see what the movie is clearly. Like it's like you're an audience member finally, and you just feel, man, this just blows. And then you hit this place, which is probably where I'm at now, where you're like, all right, it has flaws, but I still cherish it. I cherish the experience. I cherish the overall outcome of the project, and you just kind of accept it for what it is. And I think this is the best place to be, just being able to accept the movie for what it is and love it, and just not overthink it. And, you separated yourself from the experience too. I think that's the problem. Sometimes you release movies and the experience has too tight of a hold on you, negative or positive. So like it can affect how you look at the movie. It can affect how you feel about the movie too, like quality wise. I would say that's definitely definitely with Vine Avenue and Living with Trevor specifically. Like Living with Trevor, like the most positive experience of all time, and I don't even know like if I'll ever be able to watch that movie through like a non-biased lens, because it was just such a positive experience and so much fun. But with Vine Avenue, I would say the experience wasn't overall negative. I would say like it was just very difficult for me. Very difficult. I had a lot of trouble directing and acting simultaneously. A lot more trouble than I expected to have. But in hindsight, it's kind of funny how it all turned out. It just kind of worked out. Like it should have. I really believe Vine Avenue should have been a disaster, but it wasn't. It really worked out, and I think I owe a lot of credit to Caleb for helping me get the movie out there and giving me the confidence to finish it and release it. And there was definitely some speed bumps along the way, especially during the editing process. I think I sat on the movie for a month or so before I kind of like started working on it. Kind of similar to the 7th experience. I think Micah also was sitting on the movie for a little bit before he started touching it, because it's just, it can be intimidating. It can be very intimidating. And Vine Avenue, I was very intimidated. I was very intimidated by the movie when we were shooting. Getting the footage into the timeline. And then once you get going, you get in a groove. Yeah, I guess to take a second to talk about the movie a little bit. This is all shot on by Caleb's old place where his parents live. Same house Living with Trevor was shot in. We shot this all outside the house. It was all supposed to be shot inside the house originally, which I think in hindsight it would have fucking sucked, because it just would have looked the same as Living with Trevor. It wouldn't have had a distinct style whatsoever. But we filmed like a few days in the house, and I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know what it was. It's one of those things you can't really put into words. And I remember it was Halloween, after 3 days of shooting in Caleb's house. 3 days of shooting, and I felt like I was having like a panic attack. Me and Sid, my girlfriend, were watching Halloween. We were house sitting at somebody's house, and we were watching Halloween, and I just had to pause the movie, and I had to text Caleb about like, hey, can we refilm everything but outside, please? And he was totally down with it, but I was just like panicking about it so bad because I knew it was the right decision, but it was a hard decision to make too. And then there was something like I think Caleb's parents or somebody, I think his mom might have heard us cussing or something inside and like didn't want us to film in the house anymore. I can't remember which one came first, but there was like two big speed bumps that we had to get past, and it all worked out in the end because I think shooting it outside was 100% the right decision. You know, sometimes I guess you just gotta, I don't know, I guess sometimes problems are a good thing. I don't know what the moral of the story is there, but it all worked out. I think the movie looks really good because of it. It has its own look, and we used all natural lighting too, which is like not intentional. It's not like I had any lights and was just like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do a stylistic choice and not light any of this. No, I was just a cheap bastard. I didn't have any lights, so we just use natural lighting, and it looks good. I like it, and there's a big zit on my face right there. Wonderful. Anyway, so I would say the first half might have been the tougher stuff to film over here because just the dialogue is just so heavy. Very Tarantino-esque. It was still around that time where I was shaking that Tarantino-esque writing. I still have a little bit of it in me, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like people always compliment my performance here in this movie, and I do think I do a good job, but I think I was very stressed out, and it kind of maybe it benefited the performance. I don't know, but I feel like it might have prevented me from like maybe just enjoying myself a little bit more. I was just very stressed. I'm a very stressed person. I'm a very neurotic guy, and I think that it definitely like came out through the performance, but I think maybe it might have helped. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm the only one that can see like, oh man, I wish I was having a little bit more fun here. But hey, I mean, what can you do? If it helps the performance, it works. We'll just call it method acting. This is one of my favorite cuts here, right there. I love the way the music comes in. That's my old pickup. Yeah, we started filming this in like the fall, late summer, early fall, and then we stopped filming like in February, or not February. It was like after Christmas or something. So it starts out pretty nice temperature, and then it gets very, very, very fucking cold. So yeah, I think Caleb does a really good job in this movie. He was supposed to play Zach's character, the friend, and Zach was supposed to be the lead. But I think I switched him because I just felt like it made more sense. Caleb does a good job. I really liked his performance. He did exactly what he needed to do, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Caleb and I have really good chemistry in this movie for some reason. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how it is. It's just like, it just really works. It just really works. I think if Zach was the lead, it might have, I don't know, maybe I would have came off as too harsh. I don't know. Oh, here's one of my favorite shots right here. Zach was holding the camera here. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting thing too, like writing the script. I think I only did like one draft of the script, and I'm definitely not the type of guy that do like multiple drafts, but I think maybe this could have used a draft or two more. It's just tough because it's either I do multiple drafts and I overthink everything and it becomes too meticulous, or I trust my first draft a little bit too much. So it's about finding the middle ground. I do wish I would have done another run through of the script before we made this, because I think it would have been a little bit tighter. I tend to repeat myself in real life a lot, and I think it comes out through my screenplays. Like I'm like making sure I get the point across, and it's like, dude, we got it like 3 minutes ago, man. So that's something, probably one of the things that bugs me the most rewatching this film, especially, is like there's like multiple lines that mean the same thing but are just said in different ways, and I'm like, come on, let's just get on. This bench scene definitely is what drags the most. And Caleb really helped me in the editing room. It was even fattier originally, but he really helped me make it tighter, and I think it's still drags a little bit because it's just the script is just so heavy, and it just needed another run through. I needed to cut it down a little bit. Drinking some coffee. Hold on. Yeah, and I think shooting this scene really like it. It's one of those things, one of those negative experiences that you would never take back because it helps define who you are in a positive way. Shooting this scene especially, I remember being like, because we shot it, it's obviously shot, reverse shot, and we literally just shot all of my takes in one go and all of Caleb's takes in one go, but it took like a long time to get everything. Like I think we did it over the span of like a few days, and it was just so like I remember like just Caleb's holding the camera and I'm looking at nothing acting, and Caleb's looking at nothing acting, I'm holding the camera, and I just remember thinking like this is just not fun. This is not I don't feel like I'm acting. I feel like I'm just it feels more like performing than it does like actually getting into the scene, I guess. I when I act, I want to like be acting with somebody. It's no fun to just sit there and look at air and deliver lines. It feels more like a chore. It feels like it just doesn't feel as fun. And I remember just not having fun doing this. And I mean, it was also just, we didn't really have anybody, it was just Zach, but I don't think he was there that day. So it was one of the things that we made do with what we had. But ever since I filmed the scene, I don't want to act like that anymore, and I don't want to force my actors to act like that anymore because I think it's far more enjoyable to have an actor across from you to work off of. I mean, the performances are, I think, improved because of that. You get a nice flow, you get some improv, and it just works a lot better. And I think the experience is overall more positive, and that has shaped how I want to make movies going forward. This scene in itself has shaped how I want to make movies going forward. So I'm very grateful for that quote-unquote mistake, or lack of a better term. Again, we made do with what we had. So, I mean, the movie got made, but, in hindsight, I wish I had somebody to sit there and record me and Caleb talking. I think it would have gone faster. I think it would have been more enjoyable, and I think the performances would have been better, but it just is what it is. I hope there was a point in all that rambling. I'm sorry. I feel like that's a part that my friends quote a lot. The she's coming to fuck. I don't know why. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that it's honestly, I'll say the best compliment in my mind is when somebody quotes something that you wrote on a piece of paper or like said in a movie. Like that is like the best thing ever. Seeing people quote not so lines that Caleb and I wrote together is just like fucking, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing better. I mean, like that's better to me than like saying they liked the movie. Like just, if you just say a quote for my movie, then like you just made my day. I just love it. That's just the best feeling. Yeah, this bench scene does drag. It does drag. I mean, it's got a fun flow, and the dialogue is a lot of fun. It's extremely vulgar. I mean, this movie just is not for everybody. I think I got a lot of negative comments. Not a lot, but I did get some negative comments about the movie being misogynistic. Kind of the not so amazing thing where everybody's calling, not everybody, but a lot of people are saying it's racist. A lot of people were calling me misogynistic, or people were upset that I was using the word retard, and I think I say the word faggot multiple times. Actually, yeah, I do. And I mean, whatever. I don't care if you're upset, but the intent was always, I mean, like, Christian is an asshole. Like, I'm an asshole in the movie. Like, I'm just good at convincing people that I'm right, even if I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I loved about playing the character, I guess, or writing the characters, because he's like, he's an asshole, but he's so good at talking that he convinces you that he's like in the right. And sometimes he is, you know, he has a lot of good points, and he can be right a lot of the time, but I mean, I think the core thing, his core beliefs are flawed, but a lot of the things he says is pretty rational. I think it was I've heard this quote many times. Your protagonist can be wrong about literally everything but the main thing, and vice versa with the villain or whatever, the bad guy, quote unquote. Like, Christian is right about basically everything but the most important part, kind of thing. So I think that's kind of why I like these characters and their chemistry a little bit. And I think that's why Christian is interesting, without sounding too up my own ass. I think that's why he's an interesting character, because he's an asshole, but I mean, he is right most of the time. But then at the end, like, you know, when he starts talking about how all women are the same and all these things, like, I mean, clearly, like, he's in the wrong. I mean, come on, that's the whole... I mean, if somebody thinks that I'm portraying him as, like, the good guy in that scenario, I'd be very surprised. I also really like our costume design that I don't remember. I mean, I say costume design, it's literally just shirts and flannels, but I don't remember how intentional that was. I feel like I told Caleb to dress colorful, and I dressed in black, but I don't want to take credit for that because I'm not positive. But it worked out. It looks good. I love that line, actually. I think Vine Avenue is a world where I'd love to revisit someday. I'm not into sequels whatsoever, but I think that there's something there, a reimagining of sorts, that I think would be very fun. Definitely considered it. I have. Me and Caleb have talked about it a lot, and he's always wanted me to make a sequel or remake it as a feature or something. I think I could see that. I could see that happening. I definitely know, like, have a lot of it painted out in my mind. So this sequence right here where I'm leaving is like one of my favorite edited sequences that I've had a hand in, I guess. Oh, there's Caleb in the reflection of my sunglasses with the camera. I just feel like I love the editing here. Like, it just works out with Zach coming in and everything. It was just perfect. All the music, I literally, except for like the Franz Ferdinand songs that I use in the movie, like all of the music in this fucking movie is from the YouTube free library. Like you can say I'm a shitty writer, I'm a shitty actor, I'm a shitty director, but you can't criticize my ability to find good music, good royalty free music. I'm good at that. I'm very proud of the soundtrack here, all the jazzy music. Oh, yeah. And the greatest entrance of all time, maybe second to Avengers Endgame when everybody comes back. It's right here with Zach Sagen. God amongst men. This was a lot of fun. This is probably the most enjoyable part of the movie for me to film because I was behind the camera finally. I actually got to direct. It was the first time I got to direct, and it was a blast. I enjoyed it. And I was more confident in this part because I had a hand in it. Like, it wasn't like I was in front of the camera and I just had to put all my trust in Caleb, whom I do trust. But I mean, like, when you're making your own movie, like, it can be scary. So I finally felt like I had some control. I remember I swore I would never act in one of my own movies again when I made this. And then fast forward, here we are, and the two other shorts that I've made I was also in. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. You make do with what you got. I mean, it's not like... I wish I knew more people, I guess, you know? If you want to act in one of my movies, let me know. And plus, I also think that I have such a weird writing style. It's just, like, hard. It's hard to find people. I mean, it's hard to find actors in general, but if you have, like, such a heavy writing style, like I tend to do, which I'm trying to shake a little bit, it's really tough. It's really tough to find people, so it's just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. It's the Thanos thing. There's 2 Avengers references in, like, a couple minutes. I've heard people criticize this part. Seem to be a lot of the people who loved this movie, like, this was their one critique, is like the sequence with Zach. Not because of Zach, but because it just kind of slows down, which it does. It objectively slows down here. But I also think that, like, the movie wouldn't work unless you had this part. So it's one of those tough things. Like, it definitely slows down, but I mean, like, the finale wouldn't be good if we didn't have this part. Maybe I could have trimmed it. I mean, the thing about Vine Avenue is I really do feel like it would have been a really good, like, 20-minute movie or a really good hour-and-a-half movie. But I went, like, with somewhere in the middle. Maybe it works. Maybe that is the best version of Vine Avenue. But I think if I could redo it, which I obviously can't, but if I could, I would either try to make it like a short film or just a feature film, because I think there's things to expand on and there's things to trim. So it's like you just got to pick a direction to go in, and I think I kind of did the middle ground with this. And yeah, that's probably one thing I would change. The worst fucking part of the movie is right here when the weather changes. We're in like summertime looking, early fall, and then it just cuts and it's like we're in like a Soviet Union winter. It's coming up pretty soon. It always makes me laugh when I see it. And people didn't notice, which I can't fucking believe. I can't believe people didn't notice this. It like every time I see the cut, it just stabs me in the heart. It kills me on the inside a little bit. I think Zach does a really good job, honestly. I think Zach's just a really natural actor. He just kind of showed up and he just did the lines, and it was easy. It was super easy. Yep, here it is. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. And I don't know, maybe I'm just exaggerating, but man, I think it's horrible. I think we just didn't have time to film on one day, and then we like waited like 3 weeks, and then it was just winter. It was just winter, and we didn't have a choice. I mean, I framed it perfectly, and everything's fine, but like, God, look at all those leaves. It got really cold on Vine Avenue, I'll tell you. It got so fucking cold.
That's pretty confident. I am confident. Your sister is a bit of a dipshit.
I like that a lot. That actually might be my favorite, one of my favorite bits in this movie is when I'm just like, is she a dipshit? Is your sister a dipshit? And then like Zach brings it back up later. I think that's hilarious.
Fuck. Well, I'm gonna take a piss.
So, yeah, so this I gotta take a piss line from Zach used to in the script was I gotta go take a shit, but we were outside, so it was just like, what? How would that make sense? I don't know what that Zach's hair flip was. I think he just did that. But I mean, it works. He's a wonderful guy. So I guess he just goes and pees on a building. Wouldn't it be funny if that was the last time he was in the fucking movie? That would destroy me. If you just never saw him again. I gotta take a piss and he's just gone. Oh my god. So yeah, having Sid in this movie, my girlfriend, it's funny, like, I would never do this now. I would never do this movie now because I don't know, I'm surprised that I did it. I think I had less shame back then. But, like, obviously, if you've seen the movie, if you haven't, you're about to be in for a treat. But if you've seen it, like, like, there's it's a little gratuitous. Is that the right word? Yeah, Sid didn't have any problems with it. I'm surprised she didn't, and I'm surprised we did it. I look at this movie and I'm like, how did me and Sid are very, like, private, closed off people. I just don't know. It's just hilarious that we did this, and I'm surprised even to this day that we got it done. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Look at this shit.
Oh yeah, this whole coupon thing was completely improvised by Zach, this whole thing, and it was the funniest thing at the time. It still is. I love it to death. Caleb and I love Jack in the Box. I don't know what it is. It's trash. It's trash food, but it's so good.
$6 for a ribeye burger combo. Why would somebody do this?
I want to buy this bench someday. Every time I see it, I'm gonna put it in my
This is all over.
put it in my headquarters, dude.
Hell, Christian Nelson could come too.
This is a good moment between them, and I love their acting. I love the way it's edited and put together. I just think it's a really sweet moment in like kind of a otherwise bonkers movie.
I think I want to call it off.
I think it works.
Holy shit, they have on internet.
I just love how it looks like winter now.
Are you even listening to me? What? I said I think I want to call it off. Why? Because I just don't want to do it anymore, man. Christian can be as pissed off as he wants. I don't care.
You just don't want to do it anymore. Come on, man.
I don't want to do it anymore.
You're lying to yourself.
I'm not lying to anyone.
Yes,
You guys are watching this. Let me know. Let me know what you think of the film. Let me know if you think it ages well.
What?
Just kind of curious. You know, so much time has passed. I'm just. It's easier to objectively look at it, so I'd be curious to see what people think. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you still think it's garbage or if you still think it's great. Let me know. I'm curious. It's funny, the most recent comment on Vine Avenue on the RC Films channel is this movie is very toxic or something, and I just think that's funny.
We haven't met face to face.
I don't know why. I don't know. I think I have a very different perspective on like film criticism than I think a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of the people, you know, the folk filmmakers or like the truly independent filmmakers and everybody on YouTube and stuff. I have a little bit of a different perspective on film criticism. I don't really mind it. I think maybe it's because my two films, Vine Avenue and Waffles, are kind of like meant to piss people off. So if people hate it, it's like almost equally a compliment to me than it is if they loved it. So it kind of like makes me smile when people are like, "Oh, I fucking hated this. This is toxic and stuff." It kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes me smirk. I can't help it. So I don't really mind.
Your job is easy.
I think maybe it's the
If you weren't afraid, you wouldn't have called
the people who didn't like it but didn't get offended that I'm like, "Oh, why?" I just maybe I just like offending people with my movies. I don't know. One of my favorite shots right here.
Yeah?
Boom. Love it.
Oh shit.
But yeah. So just know, if my movie offended you and you feel like telling me you were offended, it's not going to make me upset. It's just going to make me laugh. So just a fun tip for all those who want to give me a mean comment. I reused this shot twice, that wide shot, and it bugs the fuck out of me. Because you can tell because there's a car driving in the background both times. It's the same car. Bugs me.
Jesus, where is that guy?
One of the best cuts of the movie right here. Oh, yes. This sequence with me coming up here and going up to Sid and everything, like, fuck me. That was so hard. Finding the right song and everything to just make everything work. God damn, it took me forever. Beating my head up against the wall. But I think I found the right one. I think it all worked out. I remember one criticism of the movie that actually bugged me was somebody who shall remain nameless, who definitely is not watching this, but still. They said that they watched it, and you know, it made me laugh at first, but then I was like actually kind of annoyed with myself. He was just like, why he thought it was stupid because all of this build up, and then like I literally have no plan or anything. Like I literally just like walk up and just start talking dirty or something, and he thought that was dumb because it's like I come across like a competent dude, like I actually know what I'm doing. And at the time I remember being like, well, that's the point, because it's funny because like he actually sucks. But no, that's not what I intended to do. I kind of did get frustrated with myself. Like I wished that my character would have had a better plan, because if you think about it, like, even if she wasn't there early, what was my plan? I was just gonna be walking down the side of the road and what? Like, what the fuck? So that's something that I would change, and it's something in hindsight that I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, again, second draft, it might have helped. But anyway, that was a criticism that I'm like, damn, yeah, you're right, that one stings. And going back to like the whole, you know, offended thing making me laugh, there was another person who, I'll just say it's a family member, I won't say who, but apparently they were very offended by the movie. Very offended by the movie. And I don't know, it kind of like, I wish it didn't make me happy, because, I mean, this person was like, it wasn't a surprise that they were offended, so it kind of made me laugh. But I remember I did post like a big long thing on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Facebook, and they liked it, so I'm like, oh, maybe they understand what I was going for now, I don't know. But I think it's so easy to just look at a movie and automatically be offended without, like, I love making movies about assholes. Like, I love movies with pieces of shit. Not literal pieces of shit, like pieces of poop, but like just people who are assholes. I love movies like that. I love humanizing them a little bit. That's what I love. And doesn't mean you're condoning all of their actions, thoughts, or beliefs, you know? I mean, pieces of shit are people too. That's the point, you know? Like, anyway, you get what I'm saying. So this sequence with Sid, when I walk up here, it is so, right here, see the cut to the singles, it is fucking full-blown winter. It is so goddamn cold. And that's why we wrote in, like, her giving me a jacket, because it is so cold. Unbelievably cold. So I was like, let's just fucking write in you giving me a jacket that doesn't make any sense, but fuck it, then I won't have to be freezing. I think acting with Sid was fun. It was like, again, we had less shame. We didn't overthink it. We kind of just boom, 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 did it really fast. And honestly, my directing style wasn't very good. So, like, I feel like I could have definitely, like, I feel like I could have done a better job directing Sid. I think she did super good for what I gave her. I feel like, because it was literally just like, hold the camera, I'll hold the camera, you look at nothing, and just, here, say this line, say it again, say it like this. It just doesn't, it's just not how, nobody wants to act like that, you know? People need people to act off of, so. So I wish, that's another thing I wish we would have done, was, I wish we had more time, and two, I wish we could have acted across from each other. I think that would have been a lot more effective, but she did a really good job, I think.
I'm good.
I always felt slimy putting that shot in the movie, but it's hilarious. I love Zach's smirk there, too.
Keep a spare coat in your car. It's cool. So, how'd Eli, snag a girl?
Yeah, and I remember even writing the scene and kind of being like, it's not the best. Like, I don't know, the whole thing with, the sitcoms thing, I just, in hindsight, that's the thing that works, like, the least out of everything. Like, it just, for me, it just does not work. I wish I would have written something. I did try, but I don't know. It is what it is. I think the thing about this movie is, especially as time has progressed, I look at it a little bit more of like, as like a fairy tale a little bit. Like, not like this stuff didn't happen. Like, that's not what I mean. Like, it's all in my head, but it does necessarily feel like even the title, Vine Avenue, it feels like kind of its own universe, its own world, where, like, you know, maybe things don't really make sense, and that's fine. And I kind of like that about it. Maybe that's something to justify, like, stupid writing choices, fine, but I'm gonna go with it. And I think the music and the soundtrack with, like, the beginning and everything, I think it also helps get that point across a little bit. I think I was subconsciously going for a little bit of a fantasy without realizing it.
It was just a joke. Got ya.
Nice to meet you.
Sure fell for that one. Burn!
Yeah, this sitcom thing, it's so stupid.
What was that?
The thing about this though is like, it's hard enough looking back at your own stuff without cringing, but it's even harder when like it's so just vulgar and you're also like not, I mean, spoilers, making out with your girlfriend on the side of the road in your movie. Like it's hard. It's and the scene is supposed to be cringy too. So there's like 3 layers of cringe here. Like, so it's so hard for me to watch the scene because it's made to be cringy. It was cringy because we were making out on the side of the road, and it's like my old movie, so it's a little cringy too. Not super cringy, but just a little bit cringy because it's my old movie. So it's just like, man, this scene's tough for me to watch sometimes. But I mean, fuck, I mean, it is cringy on purpose. Like, it's super uncomfortable, like, regardless of how you look at it. And it's supposed to be uncomfortable, and like, maybe it's a little too uncomfortable, honestly. Like, it is just, God. The tension here just, ugh, man. This is why it feels more like a fantasy to me. Like, this is just ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. I always love that shot of them. It's like the Evil Dead thing. Oh, Zach's goddamn is the best thing. This was painful to shoot, and I'd like to formally apologize to Caleb for making him do this. Painful, so painful. God, Zach just. I feel like if Zach wasn't in this scene, it just would be irredeemably awkward.
Oh, fuck, man. I'm sorry, but
And then he just gets nauseous and leaves.
I can't sit and watch this. What the fuck, man?
Hey, say what you will about this movie. We had balls doing this, I guess. I mean, Jesus Christ. It doesn't feel like it was us making this movie sometimes. I'm just like, what the fuck? What were we doing? It's crazy. So awkward. I would also like to apologize to Sydnee's family for this movie, whom I hope they will never watch this movie. It would crush my soul. I don't even know. I feel like maybe they have. That.
Elsa?
Again, I'm so sorry. I would like to also thank Sydnee for doing this, and Caleb for witnessing this, and Zach for supporting this. And this is all my fault. It's funny to make a movie about, like, love or, like, relationships when I literally, like, know nothing about any of it. I mean, like, I know about love, that's not what I'm saying, but, like, I've definitely never been in, like, a toxic relationship or anything. Like, Sid is the only person I've ever been with, so I know nothing about, like, relationships or anything. Like, I have no right making a movie about these things, but, I mean, like, I guess it's, like, it's just, like, a love story from, like, a really pessimistic, shitty point of view, I guess. It's tough. I love Caleb's run there. I guess that's what Vine Avenue is. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, everything I've made since Vine Avenue is so close to home, so personal. And this movie isn't. Like, at all. At all. Not even remotely. It's just a story that I told, you know? I know, I don't connect with it at all, but so it's very interesting to watch because, like, everything I've made since is just so personal, so meta, so me, and this movie is not. I mean, style-wise, maybe so, but I don't know. I want to do that again because I'm a little I make movies that are maybe too personal sometimes. Sometimes I would like to just tell like an objective story like this again. So either positives and negatives to that. This is probably the part where most people get upset because it's like the movie's about to end with me like reaffirming that like, yeah, see, I was right, you know, women are shitty. But I think the slap at the end, I think it brings it all home. I mean, that's how I've always viewed this scene, is just essentially you know, me spewing all of my bullshit, and like you think the movie's about to end with like, see, Christian was right, you know, all women are shitty, and then Caleb slaps me and it's like oh, okay, well, no, I guess not. And also, like, the thing that makes me laugh is when after Caleb slaps me, he apologizes. So it's like neither of them learned anything, kind of. Like, Caleb stands up for himself, and then he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know. It kind of makes you feel like the movie was pointless, and I personally love that. I love it when movies end up in the same place, kind of. Like, it's kind of funny. It makes me laugh. I love this ending still. This is still, when I think of Vine Avenue, I think this ending. It's still my favorite part of the movie. It's the way it's executed, the music, what it says. Like, I love it. And Caleb's slap is so fucking perfect. So perfect. It just, goddamn. I love it to death. I still stand by the ending more than I do anything. But, yeah.
Eli, we're the victims. And that won't ever change. They're fucking savages.
The Christmas lights are in the background because guess what? It's around Christmas time, guys.
Yeah, I'd probably play for the other team. But yeah.
Here it is. My magnum opus. The best part of the movie. Part you've all been waiting for. The good slap. So good. So good. I love it. It's like all that pent up energy just gone. And the music too. I love Franz Ferdinand. It's my favorite song from them. Beautiful. Beautiful. Still love this. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank Sydnee most of all, because without her in this movie, it definitely would not exist, because, I mean, I would never have done that with anybody else if I had not had a consenting girlfriend. So I would like to thank Sydnee the most, and thank her for being good and just being in the movie in general. I'd like to say thank you to Caleb for helping me make this movie possible, because wouldn't have been able to do it without him. And I'd like to thank Zach very much, and Kyle for making the graphics for this movie. And oh yeah, Grace helped me with some sound. Yeah. So overall, it's a positive experience. The flaws are apparent, but I'm at this place where it's okay. You know, it's totally fine. So love your movies, despite how flawed they are. Just love them. That's all you can do. Love and learn. And that's all, guys. Thanks for watching very much. If you have not seen Vine Avenue, go check it out. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the movie. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you thought of the commentary. Probably going to do a Waffles one soon. So thank you all for watching. It means the world. You're all amazing. And I forget how long the black screen goes on for. There's the RC Films logo. Much love, y'all. Have a good one.